I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven. We are here at the Metals Investor Forum at the beginning of January. And I'm joined by Ewan Webster of Thesis Gold. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Gwen. Yeah, pleasure to be here.
So, Thesis, huge drill program last year. Lots of results still coming in from that. You know, there's two zones, areas of mineralization, high grade stuff that are really coming together. I know from chatting with you that you want to do sort of at least that much drilling again this coming year to keep expanding those zones and to test sort of the plethora of targets that remain at Ranch.
Yeah, that's kind of spot on. We're looking to do somewhere in the range of 40 to 50,000 meters again this year, I'd say. And as you mentioned, it's not only going to focus on expanding the gold footprint that we have in the Thesis structural corridor, getting more confidence in that and trying to work it up. Same with the Bonanza and Ridge zone. But, you know, the approach that we took when we got the project, it had very little, if any, exploration work across it. So, you know, we focused on a very kind of systematic exploration program, property-wide soils, rock sampling, mapping, ground and airborne geophysics, and out of that though has come a lot of targets that share the same characteristics as the known zones of gold mineralization. So, you know, I think we've demonstrated that exploration model, toolkit, whatever you want to call it, has worked. We made a new discovery this year at the Steve zone, which is 3 kilometers away from those targets. So, you know, part of the drill program next year, a significant part of it probably still going to be testing new targets that share those same characteristics.
And I mean, these sort of high sulfidation epithermal systems, you need a bunch, right? Because they've got good grade, but each zone isn't necessarily massive, so you need to really accumulate a lot of zones, and that's the drilling's going to do that. And one advantage that you're going to have in this coming year is something that the market probably hasn't paid a lot of attention to. Fair enough, it seems sort of like a detail, but you can drive there now.
You can, yeah. So last year and the year before, actually, in fact, for the last 20 plus years, the project has been cut off from the rest of the Tooddogone. The Tooddogone River, just to the south of our project, you know, the bridge had been pulled out of there and the road on the project had been deactivated. So it was, you know, it was partially helicopter supported programs in 2021, 2022. But part of our new permit last year that we got late July, early August allowed us to reactivate that road onto the project and put in a new bridge over the Tooddogone River. So fantastic, big milestone for the project. We've really, that'll significantly reduce our exploration costs next year. There's going to be no helicopter support, which is great for a number of reasons, including the wildlife, etc. But it's really tied us back into the rest of the Tooddogone as well.
And I mean, the Tooddogone deserves a bit of comment as well. This is an area that, I don't know, bring us back only a decade. Not a lot of people, I mean, there were certain parts of it that got some attention, perhaps closest to the highway. Maybe that's a bit of a generalization. Yeah. But there wasn't a big thrust of exploration work going on there. But that has changed, I mean, in the last 5 years even. And now there's just a huge amount of activity up there and a lot of gold developing.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I think really Benchmark Metals kind of set the stage for what is possible up there. You know, they went from essentially what was a historic underground high-grade mine to a 3.6 million ounce open pit deposit. I think that really opened a lot of people's eyes to, you know, wow, there are large deposits up here. The problem in my mind with the Tooddogone is it's had a fraction of the exploration dollar spent on it that, you know, the Golden Triangle to the west has. And now that there's getting more attention, now that, you know, more dollars are going into the ground, those targets are starting to grow. And I think the camp is evolving into something much more significant.
And it's actually interesting, going back to that road question. I mean, the Golden Triangle is terrible for access, to be blunt. Yeah. And the Tooddogone is fantastic. I mean, for access and at least for topography and sort of ease of operation.
100%, yeah. I mean, we don't have the rugged coastal mountains of British Columbia. We are a couple of 100 kilometers inland. It's rolling hills. It's kind of subalpine to alpine topography. So, you know, very limited vegetation. And it's in the rain shadow of the coastal mountains. So there's not a lot of snow in the winter, so you can really operate year round.
So as someone, to wrap up here, as someone who spends a lot of your time thinking about the Tooddogone, watching what's going on, seeing how much it's changed in the last few years, if you had to project out 5 years from now, what do you think might happen in the Tooddogone? Like, who might be there? What might be there?
I think,
Wave your arms a lot.
Okay. Okay. I have a technical background. It's kind of hard for me, but I think, the Tooddogone is pretty ripe for consolidation, or certainly stepping out a number of years it will be. I think, our story is going to continue to grow. There's a number of other players in the area that have good deposits as well. As I said, it seems kind of ripe for consolidation, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody comes in and does that.
Absolutely. You guys are going to be raising money, I'm sure, to fund if you go ahead with a larger drill program. With that sort of thought in mind, consolidation, that means majors being interested. What's your approach to that given Thesis' stage right now? Would you want a strategic investor at Thesis' stage? Thesis' stage?
Yeah. I think, we have 15 million in the treasury right now.
Yeah.
So we're very good position going into this year's drill program.
Yes.
We can still, as I mentioned, the road and stuff, our drill costs are less.
Sure.
We can still do a large drill program. But with that said, I'm certainly open to other options.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's see what 2023 brings for Thesis. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, man.